Hi everybody, welcome to episode 1 of the Graceland Wool podcast. I am your host, Sarah Stevens. You can find me as Sarah Stevens on Ravelry, and you can also find me as Sarah Stevens 11 on Instagram. You can find me also as Graceland Wool on Ravelry and Graceland Wool on Instagram, and then at my shop, gracelandwool.com. Currently, with episode 1, there probably will not be anything edited. I'm learning about a new camera, brand new to me. So we'll see how this one goes. Anywho, so on with the show, I guess. So currently I am drinking my tea out of my brand new mug that I am just absolutely smitten over. I'm in love with this mug. It's kind of wonky shaped and it's matte at the bottom and it's glossy on the top. I don't know. I'm kind of obsessed with it. I got 3 different ones. I got a mint color and then this blue one and a darker black, and they all have this matte gray finish on the bottom. Kind of in love with them. So in my mug, I'm drinking one of my all-time favorite teas. It is Good Earth, the sweet and spicy, caffeinated. It's a black tea, and the smell is just amazing, as well as the flavor is fantastic. So if you guys haven't had a chance to try this before and you like spicy teas, it could be my all-time favorite. It's my jam. So all right, let's go ahead and get on with the knitting, which I'm sure that's what you guys are all here for. If you guys don't know who I am, I guess currently I was the other half of the O-Loops team on both Instagram and Ravelry, and also the other half of the Fiber by Design podcast. If you maybe were thinking I was looking familiar, or that you might have recognized me, and those who might not know who I am, I guess I didn't just come out of the woodworks from anywhere. I've been around for a little while, so I'm pretty excited about this new adventure that I have decided to embark upon, and I hope that you guys all enjoy following along with me, I guess, and joining in. So if this podcast is something that you enjoy or you would like to see more of, I encourage you to, ignore that. I would encourage you to give me a thumbs up or like or share or whatever, however that works on YouTube. And if not, totally not a big deal. There are amazing podcasters out there, hundreds of them, and I'm sure that you will find one that is your jam as well. So, okay, let's get going with the knitting. It's Socktober. This whole entire month has kind of been dedicated to socks. So I have quite a few socks that I have knit. Actually, right, let's see, up there, that's the latest whips that I've been working on. These, I'm going to get used to this camera. This pair right here has been the last pair that I'm going to talk about. That's my current FO. And I've got a couple whips on the needles, and I just finished a hat, but everything that I've been working with has either been socks or sock yarn related, so that's kind of fun. So what do we want to start with? How about FOs? Let's start with FOs. Let's start with that pair that's right up here. Here we go. This is going to be a learning curve. Here we go. I knit these socks There we go. Out of hedgehog fibers on their traditional sock base. This is the Monarch colorway. I am super in love with this colorway. I cannot, there we go. Yeah, I could not be happier with it. It is this beautiful peach and mauve and orange flecks of these purples. I don't know if you can see the purples and black and gray. It's fantastic. I knit these pair of socks on my Knitter's Pride Carbons 2.0 millimeter needles. DPNs, my 6-inch DPNs, and they're my preferred needle of choice actually for right now as far as DPNs go. If I'm knitting cuff down on a pair of socks, it's by far my favorite pair. I did try out another new pair of needles, new to me needles anyways, and I will kind of explain those ones in a little bit. This is the polka dot afro pattern that I wrote up. It's just this super simple chevron that happens along the top. Gosh, it's no joke, guys, when everybody talks about pointing in the right direction and getting things angled correctly for the camera. It's no joke. I'm terrible at it. So this is the polka dot afro sock pattern. It's super simple. If you enjoy knitting on vanilla socks but need something a little extra, at least in the beginning, if you're knitting them cuffed down, but then kind of just want to zoom through the rest of them, it's kind of a fun pattern. It's available on Ravelry. So I encourage you to check that out. So that's my first FO. My second FO I literally started this weekend, and I got this really sweet beanie done. There we go. It started out as the sock head hat pattern, and it kind of morphed into just a beanie. I was using, here we go, Dana of Unwind Yarn Company's, oh, is that going to get blown out a little bit? There we go, on her Luxe sock base. It's an 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, 435 yards in the Birth of Venus colorway. And I did a really terrible job of cutting this yarn band, but that's her logo right there. Loved working with this yarn. I have had the opportunity to work with Dana's yarn a few times, and it's amazing every single time. Her dye job is just brilliant. So I went ahead and knit this beanie for my husband. It started out for me, but when he walked up the stairs and saw it, he said, "Is that for me? Do I get a new hat this fall?" So yeah, definitely for you. So I knit this out of a pair of circs that I had hanging out. This is, I think these are US 2s, 3-point millimeter needles, 16 inches. And these, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, this pair of needles is not my favorite. These are a pair of Addies, and I love Addies except for these gold colored ones. I think that these might be the Addie Turbos. They get a metallic smell to them, and I can't handle it for about one project. That's about as long as it takes me, and then I need to go get rid of the metallic smell. Now, they don't seem to affect everybody. Not everybody seems to smell this metallic smell. But whatever it is, I can't seem to handle it for very long. So while I absolutely adore the tips of these needles, I love the join, I love the cable, I love everything about them other than that metallic smell. So I don't know, if anybody has any suggestions on how to get rid of that smell, that would be awesome. Otherwise, I can only make it about one project in. This hat is just beanie style. He wanted something that was kind of snug, to fit his head and that would get bigger, and I think I nailed it. He hasn't had a chance to try it on yet. I literally just bound this off 20 minutes ago before deciding to try and pull together this podcast. So I couldn't be happier with this finished project. Oops, didn't mean to shake the camera. So I love all of the speckles that you see in here. It's this really beautiful light blue color as far as the background goes. It's almost like a gray, heathery blue, and then it has pops of orange and burnt oranges and reds and coppers and forest green, all different browns. It's just to die for. So I think he's going to be really happy about it. It's not going to be a Christmas present. It is just going to be a happy fall, I hope he likes it kind of a thing. He was well overdue for a new hat anyways. I always knit him one every single fall, and so this one I know is going to get a lot of use. Okay, so those are my only FOs for this last few weeks. I really hoped to have gotten more knitting done, but with the soft opening of the new business and working full-time and managing 2 soccer teams, I truly didn't have the chance to get any more FOs done than that, but that's okay. Life happens. Okay, so next, I went ahead and cast on, oops, not this one. Let's do this one. A pair of socks earlier this month, and I did get one. Got one hoe done. Actually, let's do this. Oops. We'll use this sock blocker so you can see it better. I love these socks to death. They don't quite fit on my blocker. They are a little small, and I'll explain why in just a few minutes. But I am housing this project, here it goes, in my homespun house bag from Miss Molly. And she sent me this bag along with a few amazing little goodies a couple years ago when we did a swap, and I just adore these little bunny rabbits in here. I knit this sock. Here we go. Haha, I love it. I really love it. It's just a plain old vanilla sock. I knit this out of Regia, the Arnie and Carlos line. There we go. Perfect. And this is in the party colorway. Oh no, the summer night color. Pretty popular. I've seen a lot of podcasters knit this over the summer. It seems to make its way in and out as far as the socks go. It is an amazing yarn. It holds up really, really well. I could not say better things about it. I have this much yarn left over, enough to put a square in my sock yarn blanket, or add a little bit into my crochet scrappy blanket, as you guys will see. I knit a smaller cuff on this pair, and I did a rounded toe decrease, and you guys can definitely see I haven't woven in the ends yet. Typically I will do a Kitchener toe. This time I decided to do a rounded toe. That way I didn't have to Kitchener. I couldn't find my darning needle to save my life, so it was kind of my lifesaver. I just did a rounded toe to decrease these. I decreased evenly 4 times, I guess 8 times around, and then I would knit 2 rows, and then I would decrease 8 times and knit 2 rows and decrease 8 times. And so that seemed to work really, really well. I actually did it on, when I knit with DPNs, I always have my sock spaced around 4 needles, and then I knit with the 5th one. I know other people do 3 and knit with the 4th, and then they don't ever use that 5th needle. But I really like it around on 4. So I would knit I would knit 2 together, and then knit until 2 stitches left, and then knit 2 together, and then I would just do that all the way around the sock. So that worked really, really well. I really like the finished result. And you have to keep in mind when you're decreasing that many times that you actually need to knit extra rows in between your next decrease, so that way it doesn't create too short of a sock. So okay, so that is my second, or my first whip, I guess. It's my first whip. So 2 finished objects and then 1 whip so far. My next whip is being housed right now in my absolutely amazing Suburban Stitcher bag. This happens to be, I think this is her anniversary bag that she came out with. It is the perfect size for a small shawl, or 1 or 2 even pairs of socks that you could have going in here. It's gray linen and a pink linen on top, and inside, I don't know if you can see, here we go, there we are. Inside it has these, it's like a stitched pattern with a sewing needle. You can see I have quite a bit of space in here with my sock that I'm using. Okay, so this sock I started just this last week. I couldn't help it. I had to cast it on. This is one of my first colorways. Okay, hopefully it doesn't blow it out too terribly bad. There we go. This is my Pixie Dust colorway. It is this absolutely pale silver with little flecks of color all through it. And it's on my Glitz base, so it is a gold stellina, 75% superwash merino, 20% stellina, and, or I mean 20% nylon, 5% stellina. I really, really, really love the way that this yarn is knitting up, or this sock is knitting up. I'm knitting this cuff down. I'm using my Knitter's Pride 2.0 millimeter carbons. There we go. And you can see the little bit of sparkle that it has. Actually isn't picking it up on camera, or on this camera anyways, a whole lot, but it's pretty dang sparkly. And I am knitting the Hermione's Everyday Socks, and I am in love with it. I needed something that had a little bit of texture, and as you guys probably, some of you might already know, I enjoy having a vanilla sock going and a textured sock pattern going, so long as it's a simplistic textured sock, something that I don't have to really focus on. I can just kind of go with that without paying attention to. Socks are kind of my zen, I guess. That's my chance to kind of zone out and relax and de-stress. I knit a pair of socks, or I knit something in garter stitch, or I knit a sock head hat. It's my chance to kind of zone out for a little while. Here we go. I'm keeping my progress, or my live product. Shoot! I'm keeping my live whip housed, I guess, inside my bag with this little needle cozy. I love these. I really wish I had more of this. These, I only have this one, and it is the most fantastic thing in the world. It keeps my stitches from slipping off the sides of my needles. I really wish I had more of these little guys, but this was a birthday present for me last year, and I use it daily. So probably I would say one of the best birthday presents I've ever received. It's pretty fantastic. Lydia gave me this last year, and I use it every single day. I use it with almost every single pair of socks. So that's being housed in my beautiful Suburban Stitcher bag. I couldn't say any better things about her bags. I love that she started adding this little detachable wrist band thing. I love her interfacing. Awesome bags. And I see a theme, a pink and gray or neutral theme running around through the bags that I'm using. Okay, so you saw my whips. I also started a secondary blanket. I have been using the mitered square blanket as a way to get rid of a lot of my scrap yarn that I have going on. And while I absolutely love my mitered square blanket, I needed a second one. Like, I wanted something a little different. I needed another one. So I decided I would try my hand at crochet again. I've made one crochet project, and that was a scarf for my dad a couple years ago for Christmas, and he wears it all of the time, which just he's like the best recipient ever of anything that I've knit, and I've only made him that one scarf. I really wish that I had made him more, because there are not very many people that are just so excited to receive your things, and they take care of them, and I don't know, he's just amazing as far as a recipient goes for knitted things. I will actually contemplating making him something else for this year for Christmas because of that. But I cast on to this little square, granny square blanket, and I am in love with it. I am obsessed over this thing. Here we go. I hope you can see it. This right here is the beginning. You see right there. And you start out by creating a magic ring, and it is the coolest thing ever. I couldn't explain it if I tried. but you do that and it makes it look flawless. Now I started out just doing one round in one of the scraps and then one round in another one, and then weaving in all my ends. And truthfully, guys, I am getting so tired of weaving in ends. I hate ends. So I'm going to finish weaving these in, and then I am just going to magic knot the rest of it. When I'm ready to switch to a new color, I'm just going to magic knot it because I can't handle the ends. And crochet is so much more open. You can't hide where the ends are. It's gonna drive me crazy. I'm just using one of these Susan Bates, I think it's Susan Bates hooks. This is a USD or a 3.25 millimeter hook. I think I got it for $2.25 at Joann's, and it's doing the job. It's getting the job done. And if you guys have been wanting to start one of these, I encourage you just to go jump on board and do it. It gets, I was pretty obsessed for a few nights. That's actually all I worked on for quite a few nights. And there's something so, I don't know, just so awesome about going through, and it's almost like you kind of zone out and get a row done. And I love turning the corner. I just feel like I've made so much progress when I turn the corner and I start another row. So if you guys have been wondering if you wanted to make one and you just are worried that maybe crochet would be difficult or something like that, it's not. At least this is not. This is really fun, very joyful to work on. I am just keeping my scraps in a little soup bowl, actually, and as I go, I just add a couple more. I have a jar of scraps and I have a bin of scraps, and I just kind of pull the colors that I think will go next really, really well for that blanket. I throw them in my bowl so I can just kind of take it wherever I need to. It makes it kind of portable that way. So those are the only things that I've been working on. I would love to see what you guys are working on. I've been planning. I have a little bit of planning anyways. I have some sock planning, and I also have a shawl that I'm planning to cast on, and I'm pretty excited about that. So we're going to go ahead and jump into that, I guess. I don't have any segment names. I've realized I like them. I wish I had them. I just haven't thought of some good ones yet. We'll figure out something soon. But okay, for socks, I am super excited to cast on to a pair of socks with this amazing yarn. This is Spun Right Round in her Sugar Pop Fizz colorway. Here's her tag. She has the cutest tag. That's upside down. There we go. There we go. Cutest tag ever. Love her logo. Love her tag. I have loved her yarn for years now. Love, love, love. This is her superwash sock, 80/20. 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards. And if you guys, my favorite yarn really has no more than 20% nylon in it. I'm not a huge fan of yarn that has high nylon content in it. I prefer it to have less synthetic fiber if possible. It's just my own personal preference. While those 20% or 25% nylon bases hold up really, really well and are very durable for socks, they're just not as joyful for me to knit on. It's just not my preferred fiber content, I guess. So I can't wait to cast these on. I'm not casting these on until one of my socks is off the needles. I think that I'm going to go ahead and cast on to the second sock of the Regia. But my only dilemma is, and this is truthfully my dilemma, so I told you guys earlier I went ahead and got a new pair of needles. I think I have them in this bag. There, they're hanging out in here. I loved the color. I don't know if you can see. There we go. Okay, I love the color, but they are the Knit Pro Zings, and I got them online, and the shipping was really fast, and they were really affordable, and the point is really awesome. A few of the things that I love about the Knitter's Pride carbons is I love the texture of the carbon, but I love how sturdy they are. I knit even with the 2.0 millimeters, they don't bend. These guys, I didn't have to do a whole heck of a lot, and they bent like crazy. I'm twirling them around right now in my fingers, and you can see how bent they are. I mean, they just are, it's pretty crazy. And it's pretty typical of 2.0s to bend. I'm not saying that it's not, but to the extent, I mean, these guys were just, it was so much. I just didn't enjoy it. So I think, I mean, at one point it was completely bent because I think the way that I grip my needles, it just bends it so much. So I think I'm going to have to cast onto the sock with that pair of needles because they are the only other set of DPNs that I own that are the 6-inch DPNs, and get that going. But I'm not too thrilled by it, truthfully. So I'm debating whether or not I just go ahead and bite the bullet and order a new set of needles. I was trying my best not to order more needles because that seems to be a running theme for me, is to order more needles because I'm always losing them or they're in projects or something. But I don't really want to knit a new pair of socks out of that. So we'll see, I guess. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Then I decided I really wanted to cast onto a shawl. It's been a little while since I've knit on a shawl, and I wanted something fun and mindless, but that I would wear a lot. And so I decided, I've seen Chelsea from the Legacy Knits podcast knitting on the Party on My Needle shawl, and I want to knit on that so badly. So I decided I would do these 3 colors for my shawl. I am going to use my Whiskers colorway, for the body, and then the chevron, not chevron, it's a feather and fan section, I'm going to use graphite. And then for the really cool, for the bind off, I'm using this Green Pastures colorway of mine. It's a brighter green, and I think I will wear the heck out of it. So I'm super excited about that. I'm hoping to cast on maybe this week. Maybe this week. That's kind of my game plan, is to get one of these skeins caked up and cast on. So that's going to be happening. Look for look for new projects starting. I'm super excited about that. Okay, so with a podcast always comes a group, right? A podcast group on Ravelry. So I went ahead and started one, and I just kind of threw it up there. The banner is kind of wonky, so I need to resize that so the logo doesn't look so silly. But it's up there. And I also threw up a couple threads. I thought, you know, why not let's just have fun knitting along. I know that a lot of you are working on Christmas projects already and trying to get Christmas presents going. It is October, and I love getting ready for that kind of stuff. So I thought it would be fun to do a 1 month, a 2 month, and a 3 month kind of a knit along, something to finish out the year. And so for the month of October, I figure each month we'll start a new thread for a pair of socks. I enjoy knitting socks. That's one of my favorite things to do. And so I thought, you know what? It would be really fun to knit a pair of socks each month together. And if you already have a pair cast on, it completely works. And if you haven't cast on a pair yet, it's still just the beginning of October, so I encourage you to do so. There are no other rules other than at the end of October, I'm going to go ahead and lock that thread, and we will pull a winner from that thread, and you can win a prize. I haven't picked out a prize yet. I think I'm going to put together a little prize package of maybe a skein of yarn or a bag or some coupon codes or something. I don't know, something fun to win, because it's fun to win prizes. You can enter as many times as you want. If you want to knit 5 pairs of socks, go ahead, knit 5 pairs of socks and put 5 different pictures up there. Have at her. I just ask that they are ones that you did knit in October, and it does not have to be from Graceland wool yarn. It can be anything that you want to be knitting on or that you're already currently working on. So that's knit along number 1. Knit along number 2, I thought it would be really fun to do a hat along of sorts. So as fall fast approaches, I find myself wearing or gravitating towards knitting on hats so I can have hats to be wearing out in the cold, especially during soccer season for us. I wear them all of the time. So this knit along will go for the rest of October and in through November, and the goal is to just have a finished project of a hat. Any hat will work. If you already have one on the needles, it completely is okay to post it in that thread. And once again, at the end of November, I will lock that thread and we'll pull a winner. And then the last knit along is I thought it would be really fun to do a shawl along or something around your neck kind of along, and that would finish out the rest of the year. And you can knit a shawl or a cowl, anything like that, a scarf, you can crochet anything, and the goal is that by the end of December we will lock the thread and pull a prize winner for that one. So I'm super excited. I definitely know what pair of socks I'm casting on for the sock along. I know exactly what shawl I'm going to be casting on, which is the Party on My Needles, and I thought I had a hat in mind that I would be working on, but I finished mine, so it looks like I need to get another hat going so I can knit along with you guys on the hat along, and it should be fun. So I think that's everything, you guys, as far as the first podcast goes. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me. I feel a little scattered today because this one, I finally got the webcam going, and I thought, I just need to do this. Get this up and going and see how it goes. So hopefully the next one is a little bit longer or goes smoother. I hope that maybe next time I have a few segments that I can actually add. So thank you for those of you who stuck around until the end. I hope you had a great time. I hope to see you back. And until next time, you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks so much. Bye.